Coming up, the Gentleman Junkie giveaway knife for November 2025, the new Jack Wolf Knives Gateway slip joint, and then we're going to take a look at my biggest cold steel fixed blade knives. I'm Bob DeMarco. This is the Knife Junkie podcast.
Welcome to the Knife Junkie podcast, your weekly dose of knife news and information about knives and knife collecting. Here's your host, Bob the Knife Junkie DeMarco.
Welcome back to the show. One of my favorite comments this past week was from Michael Elliott, designer of the Gunfighter Customs Gunfighter, which will be given away in December. He says, I wouldn't call it a journey. He's talking about Paolo Rubio. I wouldn't call it a journey. I would call his experience growth. I've watched Paolo's growth from the early days when he was a this wouldn't work or drills are stupid guy. And I've been pleased to see him grow into the instructor that he's become. And of course, Paolo Rubio is a lauded instructor in knife fighting arts, chief among them the Filipino martial arts, as is Michael Elliott. So it's kind of cool to see the perspective of one teacher to another. If you like this kind of content and you think that talking to knife makers, knife fighting instructors, knife manufacturers and designers is cool, be sure to subscribe right here, because every Sunday we do an interview show with a luminary like that. All right, that said, let's get to a pocket check.
What's in his pocket? Let's find out. Here's the Knife Junkie with his pocket check of knives.
All right, my front right pocket today, I had the BBMN, a Dwayne Dwyer designed a North Mountain blade. I really love this knife. I got it, of course, because it's got a lot of Strider knives design cues. This, of course, designed by Dwayne Dwyer, one half of Strider knives, and he's got custom folders that look just like this. And I knew from what I'd heard from friends about North Mountain blades that they make incredible knives. And so when I saw this one, I had to jump on it. Very, very nice glassy phosphor bronze action on this. And you've got a Sanmai steel here that they call SLD Magic. And I believe the main cutting steel is a VG10, and then it's got some sort of 420 or 440 jacketed steel there. I love this knife. I've been carrying it a lot since I got it this summer. Next up, in my front left pocket, I had the Gateway Barlow from Jack Wolf Knives, knowing that I would be receiving another Gateway knife this very same day. I was carrying this knife and really enjoying it. I love the pinned construction of this one. Most Jack Wolf knives, the premium ones, have that screw construction, which is also great, but it's nice to have a pin constructed knife. And this one is a modern traditional in that it uses a kick to stop the blade when it goes back into the handle. It is not a stop pin. It is a kick right there. So very, very nice knife, and beautiful rosewood covers on this one on the end, and a nice big clip point blade there. Next up, and carrying it quite a bit, but I went old school today, and I had my Agent 001. This is the one from the first run of knives that I've carried the most. I love this knife. I co-designed it with TKell. He perfected the handle and perfectly created the blade that I drew out on the back of a cocktail napkin. That's not true. It was actually a pretty well done drawing, but love this one with the purple Burl G10. And this is, like I said, the older one, so it doesn't have all the refinements like the chamfering, and it's got one extra jimp on here. AEBL steel, just an awesome knife. If you like the Agent 001, you can go to TKell Knives right now and purchase one and have your own handle material, and you can choose the steel. Go to TheKnifeJunkie.com/TKell and put Knife Junkie in the coupon code section. That's all one word, all lowercase, and you will save 10%. So take advantage of that. We've had a number of people recently doing that. My emotional support knife today was rather large. Not sure if it's going to fit here, but I had the Waning Moon Yatagan from APOC Survival Tools. A big knife, and actually I've been going to the gym more recently, and I can already feel my grip improving, which is good when you've got the Waning Moon Yatagan on you, because that handle is big and it is heavy. This is a pretty heavy blade, and it's got a lot of the weight in the handle. So eat your Wheaties and do your reps, and maybe you too can wield the waning moon. The Yatagan is one of my favorite blade shapes out there. A lot of knives today are inspired by it, even if they don't know it. But for instance, the Vaquero series was very Yatagan inspired. And it is a Turkish blade, short sword, and I guess it was first introduced during the reign of the Ottoman Empire. But just a beautiful knife, and APOC Survival does an awesome job with it. You can't find too many Yatagans out there, especially in a non-ornamental and sort of usable format. So definitely check out APOC Survival for knives like this and others. So that's what I had on me today. I had the Agent 001. I had the APOC Yatagan, albeit not on my person. I had the Gateway Barlow from Jack Wolf Knives and the BBMN from North Mountain Blade. Next up, I just wanted to show off. Oh, I don't have the actual one. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I take it all back. Just pretend I didn't say that. This is the knife we're giving away this coming Thursday. So Thursday, November 20th, 2025, as we record this, we will be giving away this beautiful and new TKell Knives Agent 001 to one lucky gentleman junkie winner. Let me just put them together so you can see the difference between the first run, which is on top, and the second run, which is on bottom. You can see the one on the bottom, the one we're giving away, the new, the second run, the one that you can buy right now, has beautiful chamfering all around all the corners and edges. But I like to look at it right by the jimping. Larger jimping, reduced by one jimp. You've got terracing on the bevels there. You can see those mill lines. And these are now machined by Nick Chuprin and NCC Knives up in New Hampshire. And he is a perfectionist, does an absolutely beautiful job. So I'm really looking forward to giving this away. This second run of TKell Knives Agent 001s, designed by myself and Tim, went live this November 1st, 2025. And they've been going like hotcakes. So I'm excited to be giving this away to someone as a thank you for supporting the show. And you can do that by going to TheKnifeJunkie.com/Patreon. I also want to show you, since we're talking Patreon, what we're going to be giving away in the month of December 2025. And I just showed this to you, but this is the Michael Elliott designed Gunfighter Customs Gunfighter, made by Jared Franklin, the head of Gunfighter Customs. Just a beautiful knife that he made for me to give to you, a lucky gentleman junkie. He knows how much I love the knife he gave me. I'm going to get rid of this piece of Kydex off there. Okay. He made me one of these and gave it to me at Blade Show. The two of them did, and I was very, very excited about it. I've shown it off a lot. I've been carrying it a lot. And so he made another version, another specimen to give away to you. This one has these beautiful antique butterscotch micarta handles, and that is AEBL steel. There's Michael Elliott's Maker's Mark. It's a chisel ground, wickedly sharp, kind of an improvement on the clinch pick, giving you a place to put your thumb and all the rest. So beautiful knife. Please become a gentleman junkie by going to the Patreon at TheKnifeJunkie.com/Patreon, and you can join there, or you can become a gentleman junkie right here by joining us on YouTube. Last little bit here on Patreon. Today in history, we have a super cool thing that this is a feature that Jim comes up with, and today it's the birth of the disposable blade. I say today, but it's November 15th. The birth of the disposable blade, talking about shavers, Gillette, etc. And it's a very interesting article that this is something I would never have thought to look into, but it's fascinating when you read it. And so this Makers Mondays, Friday Funnies, and all sorts of great features that Jim has been doing. Especially, he does a great knife one where you can find out about the history of various knives. So please go check us out. All right, this is the end of my Patreon plug. You can scan the QR code about to pop up on your screen, and when you do, you can save 12% if you join for a whole year. And you get all sorts of benefits. Chief among them, the third Thursday of the month, we do a very special giveaway. We've been giving away a lot of custom knives, but also all the things I just mentioned, plus interview extras with the fascinating people we interview. So if that sounds like something you'd like, go to TheKnifeJunkie.com/Patreon and check it out. Again, that's TheKnifeJunkie.com/Patreon.
Adventure Delivered, your monthly subscription for hand-picked outdoor, survival, EDC, and other cool gear from our expert team of outdoor professionals. TheKnifeJunkie.com/BattleBox.
You're listening to the Knife Junkie podcast. And now here's the Knife Junkie with the Knife Life News.
All right, so first up in Knife Life News today, I have RoseCraft blades, the Cumberland River Coke Bottle Jack. So as you may have heard, if you watch this show, I know you've heard, RoseCraft blades has not given away, what do I want to say? They have stopped their line of modern folders. So they will sell all the modern folders they've already produced, but they are doubling down on their slip joint game. And that's what people go to RoseCraft blades for. They love RoseCraft blades for their ultra robust and beautifully made slip joint knives. So they are doubling down on that. This new one, the Cumberland River Coke Bottle Jack, has a 3-inch clip point blade of D2 steel, really focusing heavily on the long, straight cutting surface of that relatively long edge there, and then it terminating in a nice big belly and a downward clip. So yeah, generous belly and cutting edge. And then the Coke bottle shape. I love the Coke bottle shape. So it extends up and it extends down. If you look at it, there's a center palm swell that accommodates the pin so that you can have a larger blade in the blade well without having it stick too far up. That's kind of the utilitarian purpose of that profile, but I really love the way that thing looks. I love the way the utility actually looks. You've got pinned micarta covers, or they have this beautiful toasted bone, each one very unique and different from one another. I love the look of that. Kind of looks like stag. And then they all have a spade shaped shield. 2.9 ounces. These are available now for $60 MSRP. Okay, next up, the Kizer Topsail. This one designed by Newfoundlander Jonathan Stiles. Jonathan Stiles had the Newfoundland Knife Company before he became an exclusive designer for Kizer knives. He's designed both fixed blades and folders for Kizer, and this is his. So as far as he goes in the knife world, he is exclusive with Kizer. Now, I used to follow him. I mean, I still do follow him on Instagram, and not only does he post his cool knives, but also he'll go on little motorcycle adventures around the beautiful lands of Newfoundland. So kind of a cool, he's got a cool IG to follow. A statement piece from Kizer, 4 models, 4 versions of this, 3.1 inches on that drop point blade. It comes in either M390 or S45VN, 2 models on each, with an opening hole and a front flipper. The scales are all titanium with inlays of either blue or green crystallized titanium. Blue is on the M390 version, and the green is on the S45, or you can get it with Damascus or zirconium, one each per blade steel. 3.7 ounces, available now for $200. $200. Let's see. Next up, there is a suppressor company called Dead Air Silencers. Sorry about that. Dead Air Silencers, which is a cool name. Dead air is actually a broadcast industry term when the channel goes blank and there's nothing there. That's also a radio term. That's called dead air. Well, Dead Air Silencers just released a battle axe, if you will. I'm calling it a battle axe because what else are you going to use this thing for? With Winkler knives. So you've got a full slab sort of axe. It's not, in other words, it's not an axe head hung on a haft. It is a full tang axe handle, or axe with a spike on the back and a nice big blade on the front. They've made 16, or they have made 50. There are only 16 of these things left as we record this. A beautiful axe. You are going to pay for it because it is not only a dead air axe, but it's also a Winkler axe, and everybody's got to get paid. So this battle axe is $630, but no doubt super capable, and it will be, much beloved by the type of guys and gals who need this and will use this in some sort of combative situation. I dare say you could use it for other things too, but to me, it looks like a battle axe, so that's what I'm calling it. Maybe you could call it a tomahawk. All right, last thing I want to show, just a little bit of personal editorial, and it just made me so sad. So this is a picture of a knife turn-in box in North Yorkshire in England. And these are the knives that they recovered. These are the knives that people felt guilty about having, or perhaps that they just didn't trust themselves around the knives. I just don't understand how people are giving away. I see one quote unquote tactical knife. It's on the very top left, and it's one of those hollow handle cheesy survival knives we all had in the 1980s if we were alive then. Everything else here is a kitchen knife. I see scissors, I see fruit peelers, I see corkscrews. This is just depressing to me. I see ice cream scoops and spoons in this damn picture, and a can opener. So these are the things that people felt so ashamed of having in North Yorkshire that they had to drop it in a collection bin for dangerous weapons. That is a gelded society, and I'm not in any way I'm not trying to be critical of the great British people. I love the people. You know how that is, how you feel about the people then versus the government. I love the people, and we have some friends in England and everything. All of those land acknowledgements out of the way. I feel like this is pathetic. Keep your kitchen knives. You're going to need to cook with them, and if heaven forbid anyone ever breaks into your house, I know you have nothing else to defend your house with. So keep your damn kitchen knives, people. Come on. And definitely keep your ice cream scoops, because how is he going to get it out? Especially considering you've also given your spoons away. So that's it for Knife Life News. Please, people, hold on to your spoons and your scoops and your knives, especially those kitchen knives that you're going to need. So anyway, well, we can continue this conversation on Thursday Night Knives every Thursday night here at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got the holidays coming up, so there's going to be one down around Thanksgiving, and there's going to be one down around Christmas. But basically, this is my Thursday night readout. I love Thursday Night Knives because it's my chance to talk live with all of y'all. That's how we speak in the South of the United States, and I'm told, as I am directly south of the Mason-Dixon, I am in the South. So join us every Thursday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube for Thursday Night Knives. All right, let's get to the first tool.
You're listening to the Knife Junkie podcast. Here's some cool knife history with the Knife Junkie's The First Tool.
So I want you to look at this blade, not necessarily the handle, but look at the blade. And let me take you back to the early 1940s when the world was buckling under the weight of war, and a small workshop in Orlando, Florida was about to change the story of the fighting knife. Bo Randall didn't set out to arm soldiers. He was a fisherman who bought a handmade knife from a craftsman named Bill Skagel, now a legend. That blade opened his eyes. It cut better, held an edge longer, felt alive in hand. Bo went home thinking, I can do this maybe even better. What he did, what he didn't know, was that American troops would soon come knocking for his knife. As young men prepared to ship out for World War II, they wrote letters to Randall asking for reliable knives, something tougher than the mass-produced military issue. And so the Randall #1 was born. The hand-forged fighting knife built one at a time, shaped and polished by craftsmen. Picture it. A 7-inch blade looked exactly like this, with a gentle clip point, sharpened, I might add, and a brass guard wide enough to stop the hand from slipping. A stacked leather handle that felt warm even in cold rain. Nothing fancy, nothing wasted, just the right tool for a soldier stepping into a world of unknowns. The Model 1 wasn't just a knife, it was a piece of home. Troops carried it in the Pacific, in Europe, and later in the humid jungles of Vietnam. Many wrote back to Randall afterwards, saying the knife saved them, cutting rope, opening crates, or in the worst moments, doing exactly what a fighting knife is designed to do. And here's a cool detail. Randall didn't mass produce these. Each knife was handmade, and the wait list stretched for months. Even generals and astronauts wanted them. In fact, Randall knives went into space, literally carried on NASA missions as survival tools. But through all the fame, the Model 1 stayed true to its roots, a working blade built for people who needed something they could trust their lives with. Today, collectors chase old model #1s like treasure. The grind lines, the handle wear, the small differences from one smith to another, they're all cues to who carried it, where it traveled, and what stories it might tell if steel could speak. The Randall Model 1 isn't just a fighting knife. It's a reminder that sometimes the best tools come from a quiet shop, made by hand that made by hands that care more about strength and honesty than speed. And that's why even today, you have to wait for your Model 1. But when you finally get it in hand, it's like feeling a soldier's handshake across time. Now, if you like these first tool segments, and if you like hearing about segments about knives and reading about the history of knives, or just my personal take on knives, you can sign up for the newsletter. You go to theknifejunkie.com/newsletter, and every week or so, you'll get a newsletter in your inbox. I'm not asking for anything. It's no hard sell. It's just musings about a knife with a picture, a beautiful picture or two. So check that out. That's also a great way for us to keep in touch with you. Heaven forbid we lose contact. So go check that out at theknifejunkie.com/newsletter. All right, let's get to the state of the collection.
Want to sell your custom knives online? With LaunchCart, you can easily create your own e-commerce store. No coding required. LaunchCart is designed for knife makers like you, with built-in tools to showcase your craftsmanship, manage orders, and grow your brand. It's fast, flexible, and even includes low-cost payment processing to help you keep more of your profits. Start your online knife store today at TheKnifeJunkie.com/launch and turn your passion into a business.
Okay, this first knife just came to me from Jack Wolf Knives a day ago as we record this. This is the beautiful new Gateway Equal End Jack. So equal end on this model refers to, yes, the fact that the pommel side and the pivot side are the exact same. They're mirror opposites of one another. This is a very old style slip joint knife. Sometimes they're called Churchills, I believe, after the fact that Winston Churchill liked smoking cigars, and this is vaguely cigar shaped, or pretty much exactly cigar shaped. So this is a new gateway knife from Jack Wolf Knives. That means it's within reach. It's a gateway to their series of knives, whether you're going for the steel series, the JW Collab series, or the premium slip joint series. These are your way in because they are the least expensive and made from the least precious materials. But they're still made by the same manufacturers with the same attention to fit and finish. So this here it is with that beautiful drop point blade with the swedge. So I really, really like this knife. It is 14C28N blade steel. You've got steel bolsters and liners with pinned construction. The premium slip joints and the steel series slip joints from Jack Wolf Knives have screw construction, so you can take them apart for whatever reason you might want to do that. And but these, the gateway, are pinned more like a traditional slip joint. And like a traditional slip joint, they use the kick, that's this extended part of the blade tang, to stop the blade from slapping the liners inside. Instead of the way many modern slip joints use a stop pin inside. But I love that these use that traditional style of stopping the blade with the kick. This one has beautiful ebony wood with a perfectly embedded inlay there. That shield is inlaid perfectly. You can't feel it. All the transitions from material to material, like from the wood onto the steel bolsters or across these nickel silver pins here or across that shield, you can't feel any of that. It's all hafted perfectly. Same thing with the back. If you look at the spring and the liners, they all look like one piece. And then at the half stop, you have a fully flush lock bar there. Not lock bar, spring bar. I can't call it a lock bar. But this is the brand new Jack Wolf Knives Gateway Equal End. I believe this is dropping on the 21st of November, 2025. And you will definitely want this. So one of the ways they keep the cost down with the Gateway series, the premium knives are in the 300s. The Gateway series are sub $100. And the way they keep costs low is, like I said, instead of S90V on the blade, it's 14C28N, a great blade. And by the way, this is unbelievably sharp. But also in the packaging is there's a lot less packaging. You do not get the leather slip automatically with this like you do on the premium knives. So there are some ways that they can save costs to get a great Jack Wolf knife design and build in your hands. So definitely go check this out. Before I showed with my pocket check, I showed the other Gateway knife. This is the Gateway Barlow. I was lucky enough to get wood on both of these, but they also come in numerous other more modern materials. So definitely go check these out. They're phenomenal. And I think you can still get the Gateway Barlow, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so that is the Equal End new from Jack Wolf Knives. Next up, I wanted to show you a new light. So I went out yesterday, as I record this, to buy a flashlight for a friend of mine who just had a birthday. And he lives in the neighborhood, and I see him walk his dog on occasion. And I figured he needed a good light to traverse these dark suburban streets. And so I got him a Fenix, and then I got myself one too, because I think they're super cool. And I've been talking about lights, great for self-defense and all this, but I don't carry them as much as I should. And this one was an excellent size. So this is the Fenix LD30, and I have it set up for the brightest lumens here. I think it's 1200 or 1400, and then you can take it down and take it back up right here with this switch. You can also go to strobe And I love strobe. There's also an SOS mode where it does a slow flash. And but what I really like about it is that it is small enough to carry in the pocket without me feeling like I have too much in there. It also has the baseball hat clip, so you can see this clip will fit over your pants. But if you want it to fit on a visor as an impromptu headlamp, the clip doubles over on itself. So a great feature. Why do I say light for self-defense? I've never used one. But if I needed to, I would much rather blind someone, kick them in the knee, and run off than pull out a knife and stab them. Let's face it, none of us need that in our lives. That is last ditch. But there are lots of things you can do before that last ditch, like spray them with pepper spray or blind them with light and run off. So I figured, why not incorporate this more into my life? Now, I am not saying I'm becoming a flashlight nerd or a torch whore or whatever they call themselves. I am a knife dork, and but these lights are adjacent, and why not? We have a lot of friends here who love their flashlights, so I've been taking notes. People love the old Fenixes here, and I got this for a somewhat reasonable price. Could have gotten it for $1 more on Amazon, but I was right there at REI, so I bought it, paid the Virginia sales tax, and the sucker's mine now. And I'm going to start carrying it a lot. I think this really genuinely has to become part of my EDC, not just the smaller i3T I keep on my keys. I need something a little more robust. So I'm excited about this, and I'm going to start carrying it. All right. So while I was at REI, I made a weird purchase. I'll say it, but I couldn't resist. I could not resist. It was this little Opinel in the number 6 size, but it's a vegetable peeler. It's an Opinel vegetable peeler. It's for campers. It's for people who find themselves, with cucumbers and potatoes in the wilderness. This is what they do to peel them. I have a kitchen. I've got 2 peelers in the kitchen. I can't decide which one I like better. And yet I had to bring another peeler into my life. So I'm going to, after this show, after we record this, I'm going to fold this up. I'm going to drop it in the kitchen drawer, and I'm going to start using it every time I have to peel. I was thinking all sorts of crazy things when I was trying to justify this purchase. I was like, oh, well, my daughters love cucumbers. Instead of preparing them for lunch, for their school lunch, I'll put this in the box, in their lunch box, and they can peel their own. And I'm like, that's not going to happen. They can't open this up at school and say, oh, it's just a peeler. This is one of those uncontrollable things, and I just had to buy it. Isn't it cool? Isn't it cute? Say yes, Bob. Yes, that was money well spent, Bob. Say that, please. Just drop that in the comments. Make me feel better. All right. So if you ever need a peeler on the go, check out the little Opinel number 6 vegetable peeler. It is stainless steel. So, I mean, I'm not a total fool. All right. Speaking of total fool, let me show you how I am a fool for these large cold steel fixed blade knives. Before we do, though, let me show you this latest design by none other than Jimmy Notes. He's got this S35 with a heart. It's just like, who doesn't love S35 VN? For a while, that was the super steel of mention. Everyone had to have S35 on their blades, and then M390 came along and 20CV and all these other, it just ruined the party. But S30V, a tougher version of S35, a tougher version of S30V, both steel inventions, quote unquote, derived from Chris Reeve Knives and his needs for the Sabenza. So we are lucky to we are grateful to Chris Reeve for many reasons, but you can get this awesome S35 logo on a tote bag, on an apron, on a hat, on a t-shirt, a coffee mug, whatever you want. There you go. We have it for you at TheKnifeJunkie.com/shop. Go check it out. All right. Everyone knows that I love cold steel. I am not shy about it. Even when people were saying, "No, I respect the knives, but I don't like his sales tactics and his marketing." I always thought, man, come on. Are you not a knife fan? Don't you love seeing pigs cut in half by knives? They're already dead. And they're going to make a meal down at the Ventura Rescue. So why not just enjoy? Let's start off with the one that I've carried the most and has done the most work and play for me. That is the Cold Steel Trailmaster. This is a knife I would recommend to anyone, especially people who do things outdoors, go camping, go hiking, go overlanding and such. I love this knife. And you might say ounces are pounds and pounds are pain, and that's a big knife, but it is so well worth it. This is a 1/4 inch thick slab of SK5, because this is a pretty old one here. This one is over 25 years. I'm hesitate to say it's 30 years old, but it's probably about 30 years old. Beautiful 0 ground swedge on this. So equal parts fighting knife and outdoors knife. This would make an outstanding fighting knife. I've put many hours into swinging this around, shadow boxing with this knife. Carenza, they call it. It's got a nice coffin-shaped craton checkered handle, so very grippy. You can see where it's worn down over the years there. And in 30 years, it hasn't become tacky and gross like some rubber materials do. Nice thick brass guard. And the original leather sheath. Now, I've been stalking eBay. I'm going to buy another Trailmaster. I want it to be original. And by that, I mean, I have reprofiled this blade. So this blade is a little thinner than a standard Trailmaster, just because I've sharpened it and I've chipped it and gouged it and done things to it and had to reprofile it a few times. So when I hold it up against my dad's, it's definitely more slender. But I want to get one that is old enough that it will come with the leather sheath. That may or may not happen. I might just buy a brand new one. But I feel like this is a knife that is so tried and true. I can afford to get a second one. I'm not one of these guys who, oh, I like this knife, I better buy two. But this one, I've had it for so long and it's done such great duty. Maybe I should just get a second one just to be sure, but or just out of respect. But I love this thing. So beautiful. If you get anything from this list I'm giving you today, it is get yourself a Trailmaster for sure. Next knife is also a nice big Bowie and probably my second favorite, though I have a lot of favorites in this list. And this is an old version too. This is the Laredo Bowie. This is kind of a dedicated fighting Bowie, whereas the Trailmaster was full tang. This is a cable tang, meaning the tang of the blade comes to about here, and then there's a cable that goes from here to a bolt. And the idea behind that is that it absorbs shock. It is super strong. I mean, I've batoned this through wood and done some stupid stuff with this. But really, this is a fighting knife. This was a knife that when this prototype was first made years and years and years ago, Lynn Thompson sent this to Bill Bagwell, the legendary fighting Bowie knife maker, and asked him for input and basically asked for his blessing, and Bagwell gave it to him. You've got a beautiful 10 1/4 inch blade here, or 10 1/2 inch. This is also SK5 blade. I have mine nicely patinaed because mine originally, when it came, the sheath scratched up the blade, and so I patinaed it and never looked back. But this is a pretty old girl here. It's got faux cocobolo wood, so it's wood that's made to look like cocobolo, but it's inexpensive enough that it's not. Beautiful brass guard and a nice long, again, 0 ground swedge. And that is for back cuts. So if you are fighting with this knife, and this is a fighting Bowie knife, you can do that back cut, which is you're coming in with like an angle 1, and you turn the blade over and you use that tip to gouge / tear / cut whatever it comes in contact with. To do that, you don't really need a 0 ground or sharpened swedge, but it definitely helps. Sometimes people fight with Bowie knives with that clip forward like this and the primary edge back. They call that mountain man. And you can get a lot of damage. It's like having a hawkbill blade here. This one, like I said, early on in its life, or not in its life, but in its run as a knife for Cold Steel, they were putting them out in these beautiful leather sheaths. I mean, the sheath is gorgeous with that big brass stud. You just slide this in the belt like a riverboat gambler, and you are good to go. So, probably, well, I don't know, one of my absolute favorites in this lineup here. All right, next up, this is a tip of the hat to the very original fixed blade knife that put Cold Steel on the map, but this is a larger and more modernized version of it. This is the Tonto 12. So that's a 12-inch Tonto blade. You remember the Americanized Tonto is the one that put Cold Steel on the map, and this one is just like that knife, except the original had brass furniture here. The pommel and the guard were of brass, but everything else is the same checkered craton handle. This one, if you look closely near the edge, you can see two different steels. This is a San Mai. They call it San Mai 3. I believe that's VG10 and 420. Stainless. I know they change it up here and there, but this knife is so light and agile in hand, light and lively in hand, if you will, that I could see this being an incredible fighting knife. Even though I prefer a Bowie, even though I prefer a double-edged, say, sub-hilt fighter. In my imaginary knife fights, this one just moves around so well. It's weighted, it's balanced slightly forward of the guard, but with a knife this large, it really makes that tip move around fast. You got some weight here in the pommel, so it's weighted more like a short sword than a knife. So really, really outstanding knife. And you've got the yokote, that sub tip there, that secondary tip right up front. That is frequently used. That, of course, makes the tip very, very stout for thrusting through tough materials. But also that sub tip, or that secondary tip, is good for a percussive snap cut. Snap cut is, imagine you have a drumstick in your hand and you're hitting the snare and you're really gripping with the forefinger and the thumb and stopping the recoil with the rest of your hand. That secondary tip up front can put a nasty gouge in anything you snap cut it with. This one comes with their Grivex sheath, which I'm fine with. I don't need leather on this style of knife, though my original Tonto does have leather. Okay, next up is the Jimmy Slash Competition Chopper. This thing is what it lacks in length, it makes up for in girth. Let's put it that way. Beautiful leather sheath here. And look at this sucker. Oh my gosh. This is a huge, heavy slab of 3V steel. This is 5/16 of an inch thick, so just a little bit over a quarter inch. This has serial number 11, by the way. Thank you, Jimmy Slash. He sent this to me when it first came out. Quite a gift, because this is not an inexpensive knife. There is a lot of 3V here, and 3V is an expensive steel. You can see it's lightened with this swedge on the back for perfect balance. It is 10 inches in length, as are all competition choppers. For USA Blade Sports, they have to fit into a certain envelope here. You've got a downward angled blade on this awesome Grivex handle, and very, very nice bird's beak here, quite grippy. And then one of the things I really love about this is the lanyard hole here at the back, the pommel, and then the lanyard hole here right near the the ricasso. So you can make a sort of D-guard lanyard to really keep it on your hand if you're doing your competition chopping. Now, here's a little news break. You don't have to be a competition chopper to use this thing. This is outstanding for batoning wood. As you can see, I've gotten some I got some schmutz on there I have to remove, but this is a really, really great knife for all sorts of chopping tasks. It is heavy. It is weight forward. The sheath does not have a loop. It's not really meant to be carried, but you could do it. You could do it. And this would be a great campside knife. Say if you're car camping and you don't want to carry a pound of steel into the bush with you. This is the Jimmy Slash competition chopper. Next up, back to Bowies, because this is cold steel. I've got a lot of cold steel Bowies, and this one is the Western Bowie. Now, I'm going to be saying Bowie. You could say Bowie. I've tried it. It just doesn't work for my Yankee tongue. To me, I say Bowie. But this beauty is the Wild West. So this is based on the Marine Raider style of Bowie, or the Western W49 style of Bowie. So you've got a nice long straight, a decent belly, and a widened tip. So the whole thing widens out towards the clip. And when you meet the apex of the blade here, that's where it's at its widest. Pardon me. This is made by Windlass Cutlery in India, and they do a fantastic job with these Bowies. There's another one I'll be showing you here soon that they also make. A slightly hollow ground bevel here, and really, really sure in hand grip with that bird's beak. Full tang here. So what you see is what you get. You got a full tang. And then this amazing giant brass S-guard. Just a wicked everything knife. I mean, you could use this for camp chopping chores. You could use this in a fight. You could use this to skin an animal, preferably a big animal, I'm thinking. But it's a do-all, do-everything knife. This came with a sort of tacky, like they put too much coating on it. I removed it on the handle, and now it is perfect. It comes with a great leather sheath, and hopefully they never change this to Grivex. That would be a real shame. But a great sheath with a dangler and a retention strap here. Okay. Next up is the Rondel Dagger. Now, the Rondel Dagger is it's quite a big dagger, but it has 3 edges to it, and they're all quite oblique edges. Not sharp, like you're not cutting cheese with them, but they are zero ground, so that if you had to slap someone on the forearm with this, you would split the skin and break the bone. It is a nasty dagger meant for thrusting. Rondel referring to both the guard and the pommel on this. This was the kind of dagger a knight in shining armor carried. And when they got in their inevitable clinch, you know, fighting for knights in armor, it was a lot of bashing. The swords were sharpened usually just at the tip, and the length of the blade was more for just smashing and bashing, and also as a handle, because they would also hit with the heavy pommels of their swords. So eventually, oftentimes, a fight between 2 knights in armor would end in a clinch and rolling around on the ground. And then you pull out this Rondel dagger, which is triangular in cross section, and just jam it through the armor, or preferably in the joints of the armor. And it's meant to go through chainmail. I dare say you don't need to be a knight in shining armor to make good use of this. This would make a good, well, I'm not going to say what it would make. It would be good for all sorts of modern self-defense. You could even keep this in your car and say, oh, I'm going to a LARPing event if the cop ever stops you. But all jokes aside, a really, really powerful thrusting weapon here. And not only is this going to breach armor and chainmail, but you could really use it to great effect as a bludgeoning sort of weapon, or as a blunt force weapon. All right, next up, the 1917 Frontier Bowie. I'll show it to you in the beautiful leather sheath with the metal chape and throat here. It's also got a dangler. Very, very nice sheath. But this is the knife right here. So beautiful S-guard on this. I really like the look of that guard. This one is also made by Windlass Cutlery in India. Again, it came with too much coating on the handle. I took it off with isopropyl and got it down. This has a channel tang, so it's a full tang, but it's not the full width of the handle. Comes all the way down to the pommel. But like a Randall made knife, the channel is cut into the handle and it is fitted over the tang. A beautiful blued clip point blade with a giant fuller, not only to add rigidity, but to lighten the blade itself, make it a little easier to wield. A bit of a swashbuckler is this knife. To me, this reminds me of the kind of knife that would have been made from a discarded or broken saber. It kind of has that effect. It is called the 1917 Frontier Bowie, so who knows? Maybe the thought behind that is that we're into the 20th century, but there still is a frontier out west. So you take your old saber from the Civil War, cut it down, and make something more useful of it out on the plains. I'm just making all this up. But I love this handle. It's weird. It doesn't look like it should be comfortable, but it is quite comfortable in hand. I've seen some people reprofile the handle or recontour it, but I love it the way it is. So this is the 1917 Frontier Bowie. A big knife. Oh, let me give you the measurement on this one. It is 12 1/4 inches long. So that's a big blade, 12 1/4 inches long. Nice big Bowie. All right, next up, this one also an historical piece. As you see going through this, a lot of these have a lot of historical markers to them. This one is the Chieftain Sax. So a sort of Viking, sort of Anglo-Saxon style blade here. Here's the sheath, very nice sheath, set up for horizontal scout carry hang, if you will. And then here is the blade. Now this one is big. Let me measure this one for you. This is a full 13-inch blade here. I'm not sure if I can get the full thing in, but it's got a beautiful rosewood handle, nicely carved with some sort of, I don't know, looks like traditional, not runes, but traditional patterns here, not only on the rosewood handle, but also on the brass guard and pommel. And then you've got this long brokeback sax blade. I always say it's a thin line between brokeback sax and Bowie. But this one does have a very straight edge with an ever so slight curve up towards the tip. And then it's got that clip down or that drop down. A lot of people like to say that the sax knife was developed from broken swords. I think that's poppycock personally. But I mean, I think that this is an excellent design in and of itself. As a knife, it doesn't have to be like a salvage kind of thing. But, that's not to say you couldn't make a great sax from a salvage sword, but I just don't think the other proportions work in that situation. But this knife, this has spent many a night in front of the TV. This is one of my TV guarding the house knives. So I have plenty of stuff to guard the house with, but I also like to have a nice big fixed blade with me. And this one, I don't know, just generally tends to be there with me. I think it's intimidating. It's big, comes out of the sheath easily. It's thin enough that you could shear through anything with that full flat grind. So yeah, this is a personal favorite of mine. This is the Chieftain Sax. All right. Next up, one of the OG beauties here. This is the Natchez Bowie. Now, unfortunately, this is in a Securex sheath. The Securex sheath is outstanding, and the throat widens enough that you can use it, slip it under the belt, and use it like a traditional studded sheath for the belt carry. But this one really deserves a leather sheath. And I have a line on a leather sheath that I'm going to have made from a great friend of the show here, and I'm not going to mention him until it comes to pass, because I don't want people knocking on his door for a leather sheath. But I am going to have a leather sheath made for this one as soon as his books open up. Beautiful, beautiful Musso style Bowie. You've got a Coke bottle handle here. I know that's not what they call it on Bowies, but that's basically what it is, because you've got the palm and the finger swell here, and then a sort of coffin style termination. Nice big guard on this knife, both north and south of the edge, but also east and west. So you've got a little bit of protection on the side of the hand. This is also, oh wait, don't want to talk out of school here. Let's see. It's a 1/4 inch. It's maybe between a 1/4 inch and 5/16. It is damn thick. You've got a nice swooped clip here, and that is also 0 ground. So you want to talk back cut with this knife. There's a lot of weight in that blade, and a sharp enough clip that if you were to land a back cut with this, it would be absolutely devastating. Very sharp knife. Now, this comes in 3V. I did not opt for 3V, which is way more expensive than the 4034 stainless steel. But for me, I see this with its cable tang as a fighting knife. This is not an outdoors knife for me. It could be, I have once batoned with this just to make sure it could. But this to me is not that kind of knife. So I do not need 3V. To me, this is a knife fighting knife. This is a Bowie. This is a dueling knife. So I don't need the 3V. I've got hardened 4034, which I believe is a Krupp steel. The Germans know their steel, and cold steel knows its heat treat. So that together works great. Works well enough for me. Let's put it that way. So beautiful micarta handle. I absolutely love this knife. All right. Second to last in this list was a gift from my brother. This is the Chaos Kukri. Nice giant blade here. Here it is. The Chaos has a cast aluminum D-guard handle for protecting your hands in the bush, or protecting your hands against the face of people that you are fighting in the trench, whatever is your use case. This a 13-inch SK5, I believe, kukri blade with that extreme recurve, that low tip and the deep belly. People think of these as choppers only or slashers only, but I'll have you know, they make for great thrusters. So on a thrust, on a stab with a knife like this, not only can you do it in a snapping sort of way and use some of the momentum of the weight of this to penetrate, but also you could just go straight in, because your wrist doesn't need to change posture, because you've got that extreme curve in the blade. This is one of those zombie knives. This is one of those last ditch, the world's ending, grab something big and furious to take out the door with you. This would definitely fall into that category. Also has an attitude adjuster as a pommel nut here. So this thing is just chaotic all the way around. Actually, it's not chaotic at all. It's very well thought out. Chaos is what it's called. This is what this is what brings order to chaos right here. Nice big Chaos Kukri. All right, last up, this is another historical piece, and one that is very close to my heart, because this is the Italian fixed blade EDC for self-protection in the 16th century, 16th and 17th centuries. This is the Cinque Dita, which means 5 fingers because of the width of the blade. A lot of people like to quip that, oh, it's an Italian knife. It looks like a slice of pizza. And actually, I like that. I like pizza. I like being Italian. I'm proud of my heritage. And sure, okay, it looks like a slice of pizza. Also looks like a slice of Roman cheesecake if you want. But really what it is a deadly, double-edged, super wide dagger used in duels and all sorts of sort of back alley engagements here. You've got a nice big guard, a beautiful handle here with the studs for extra grip. This is more comfortable with a glove than not. I will have you know, I've done a lot of shadow boxing with this one too, and I always end up putting my workout gloves, which are just work gloves, on to keep it in hand without it harshing my skin and hurting. So you got the double guard, you've got the super wide blade, you've got 2 edges, and a really nice heavy pommel, which weights it like a short sword so that you can have that tip move around exactly where you need it to go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is my trip down the big cold steel fixed blade lane. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you yourself have a big cold steel. And if you don't and you're looking to get one, remember the first one to get is the Trailmaster. A true masterpiece. All right, I'm Bob DeMarco, signing off here, saying for Jim, who works his magic behind the switcher, have a great week, and we will see you next time on the Knife Junkie podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Knife Junkie podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review at reviewthepodcast.com. For show notes for today's episode, additional resources, and to listen to past episodes, visit our website, TheKnifeJunkie.com. You can also watch our latest videos on YouTube at TheKnifeJunkie.com/YouTube.